Tropical update as of 9:30 p.m. PST, September 18th. Fiona has made landfall in southwestern Puerto Rico as a Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-per-hour winds. Earlier today, it made landfall about right in here, and about it has dragged west-southwestward towards the DR. This isn't going to make landfall in the next few hours. This isn't going to make a major hit, but it just has. I mean, here's the latest radar of our storm. There's almost no way it's going to avoid some kind of landfall. The NHC tries to say it's west northwest, but that's bull crap. I mean, I has become tighter in the last few hours, and maximum winds radius of maximum winds are 10 to 15 miles. Peak measured peak 700 millbar flight winds of 75 knots and an SRF of 70 knots. So they went with 75 knots with 92 millbar pressure. It has been moving westward based on what the agency says, but really the recon has hit more of a west-southwest motion, so I disagree with that. But it could be rounding the trough, which means it's about ready to move. I mean, rounding the ridge, which means it's about ready to turn northwestward and make a track across the DR, take a ton of damage. And you can also see this with expanding of the outflow to the north, signifying it's starting to be affected by the weakness. Here's the radar. Clearly going to be making landfall on the DR the next 4 or 5 hours, and probably make it weakening probably about 20 knots over land. Probably there's a chance it could be a tropical storm if it does what I think it's going to do, or a very minimum Cat 1. We'll have to see. Yeah. Let's see. Let's get. Here's the track based on the NHC. They have it north of what's most likely. It probably will track on the southern side of their forecast track. Then into the eastern part of the Turks and Caicos and Bahamas. Then turn northward into Wednesday. Then northeastward towards Bermuda on Thursday into Friday. Then longer term, we have to watch for Newfoundland potentially being affected. Here's the storm. Clearly pretty well organized, but I expect quite a bit of weakening, probably even to probably 55 to 60 knots before it re-emerges back in the Atlantic. Then it re-strengthens. I mean, conditions look pretty favorable, in my opinion. Here's the tracks based on the models. Quite a few of them make landfall in Canada. GFS neighbors definitely make landfall. I mean, let's look at that 968. I mean, that's going to be quite the blow. Probably, I think the chances of becoming cat free is probably about 70% right now. It would be higher, probably 90, 95 if it was about ready to get absolutely crushed. But maybe we'll get surprised and turn northward in the next few hours. I mean, here's the GFS. I mean the hurricane intensity models. A lot of them take up the upper end cat free 110 knots, which is in line with the NHC's thinking. There's really no reason in the long term to disagree, but I think it will be weakened pretty good in the next 12 to 24 hour period. Probably by anywhere from 25 to 30 knot, 25 to 30 miles per hour. Then it will rebound and take its shot. That's my thinking. If this actually moves significantly over the DR for probably a good 12 to 18 hours before re-emerging. But who knows? Maybe I'll just clip it like this. Then it potentially could still be a hurricane. we'll see. But trends throughout the day would suggest otherwise. So, okay, now we're going to go into our next system. I mean, it's interesting to talk about what has happened the last day and try to interpret forward into the future. Madeline in the Eastern Pacific has increased in organization over the past few hours. We can show you this system. Clearly, a CDO has formed. Shear has dropped. LSC is under the system. It has 45 knot winds. Conditions look pretty favorable and they're very short term. But surface temperatures will start lowering under it in a couple days, and so we expect weakening after about 12 to 24 hours, and it will become extratropical then after, as it's heading westward into cooler water. We can show the models. First, the NAC track, which takes it northwest and west-northwest into cool waters, which is in line with all the models. Clearly going to weaken based on intensity. Let's see. We look at this, we really don't see anything else forming right now, but you can definitely see where something else could form down here longer term, and I think she's watching a few other systems. One, there's Central America, and Eastern America has 10% in the next 48 hours, 30% in the next 5 days, and longer term, another one could form in the next 5 days that has 20%. So that's worth watching. Probably down in here. I mean, next we got 10% for this system, but it's becoming extremely unlikely this is going to develop. So, but this is going to more or less head northwestward, then recurve with the trough that's picking up from longer term. We have to watch another system by the Cape Verde. We can talk about this. Let's see. Let's look at the GFS. It's 120 hours. It still shows it. So a lot of them have been pretty persistent. We definitely see another system in about 5 days down by Mexico, which is probably the other system that they're watching. 144. Yep, 168. Let's look at CMC. Still, it definitely shows some activity in the longer term. Let's go to 192, 998 for the system. 216, 1012, 1002. Icon, it shows the system too, but it also shows the Caribbean system, so we'll have to see if that gets long-term support. I mean, plus I try to develop systems earlier. Icon really likes developing systems. I mean, but ECMW 18Z definitely shows the low pressure at 90 hours. Pretty strong. We'll see. Oh, that's your tropical update.